You are so significant. You've been given significance by Christ. And we've been given the significance to the Word that unlocks your beauty and importance, that you are what it's all about. You are the kingdom. The only thing that He's looking at that gives Him joy. So, what does He want from us right now? Well, things are building, and now that He's been saved, you've got to work toward the one and only burden of discovering who the enemy is. And a lot of those important teachings going back to creation. Today I wanted to simplify, and just by putting these ideas, ask you, go back, read it again. You know these things. Let it come alive for you. We're in a hurry. We're toward the last crunch. And any little bit of help that gives you more as you start off, if you're new at reading or in your other studies, we're used to complicating things down to the letter. But let's talk about creation. Again, there were some things coming up regarding the devil and Cain and the false priests that got into the priesthood and that have been vowed in. So, they made a legal deal to be right there, part of it, in the Jewish teachings in the temple. So we've got to put up with that. But it's part of God's fingerprint and plan. And part of the things that I really want to do in the next 15, 20 teachings is to demystify, take the terror that is intended with teachings of aliens and these spiritual beings. That is what that we're waking up to, is your power. You're so significant. The power of God will move for you. And just in how that you see Him, that He is not the curse. He's no more the curse than a bread is a gun. Looking at the stars and how we have a sign, and why was it considered a sign for a virgin birth? There's a lot that could be told in the history of it, but if we get to what these stars are, we're told they're the clothing of God. We know that the story of the gospel, starting with in the book of Revelation, this woman with the 12 stars on her head and clothed in the sun. And there was something we lost in our heavenly glory that was part of our bodily makeup, with whatever seduction came in the sexual connotation with the tree and Eve. And so this sign in heaven is the sign of Eve and all the children of men that would come afterwards. That Christ Jesus and His plan to have a family and share His nature with a diversity of personalities, to have a family and to enjoy the support coming from different directions where we may be weak, and to multiply on the earth. But there's a big sadness dealing with the strength of such as that are Luciferian and the adversary, the Satan, which is just, Satan is an adversary, and it's the adversary, so it isn't a name. but it is a nature. And I believe that since the crucifixion and resurrection, he's been toted out of heaven. I think we can find that that makes much more sense being fit into my study to find that kicking out was in the resurrection. When Revelation starts to unfold itself, it is dynamic in time and origin and placement of realities, whether it's heaven as it was, heaven as it's going to be, being birthed into human and having a spirit. So you talk about places, even if you're talking about your spirit and the development of a world on earth and all the life-giving source of the sun, a star. We find these studies revealing who the enemy is by this sun, the sign of the Son of Man, the sun. And you have sun worshippers, and it takes us back to what Cain did when he fell, and the mistake of, come on, and the mistake of God's people to begin to call these other influences by God's name, by giving God's credit to them, and by using these teachings as power over governing bodies. What, sweetie, are you going to come up here? But so that we understand that the pattern that came down here from heaven is in heaven. And this woman being really the history of man as it fits into God's perspective of him looking down at us. And I have a potty break to go take for someone. Thanks.